Anne of Cleves, the fourth wife of King Henry VIII of England, is a figure often overshadowed by her more famous predecessors and successors. Born in 1515 in Dusseldorf, she was a German princess from the House of Lamarck. Her marriage to Henry VIII, which was ultimately short-lived, marked a significant moment in the tumultuous history of the English Reformation. This detailed biography explores her life, marriage, and the subsequent impact on her personal and political life. Early life and background. Anne of Cleves was born on September 22, 1515, in Dusseldorf, in the Duchy of Cleves, which was part of the Holy Roman Empire. She was the daughter of Duke Johann III of Cleves and his wife, Maria of Jülich-Berg. The House of Cleves was a minor but influential noble house in the Holy Roman Empire, and the Cleves region was strategically located in the Rhineland. Anne's early years were spent in a relatively quiet and peaceful court environment. Her upbringing was typical for a noble girl of her time. She received a basic education in reading, writing, and some languages. Her education was aimed more at preparing her for her future role as a consort rather than for a political career. Marriage to Henry VIII. Anne's marriage to King Henry VIII of England was primarily a result of political maneuvering. By the early 1540s, Henry VIII, who had already been married 3 times, was seeking a new wife. His previous marriages had ended in either annulment or the execution of his wives, and he sought a new alliance that could strengthen his position in European politics. Anne was chosen as a potential bride in part due to her family's political connections and the alliance it would bring with the Protestant states of the Holy Roman Empire. The marriage negotiations were handled by Thomas Cromwell, Henry's chief minister, who saw Anne as a suitable match to align England with the Protestant states and to counterbalance the influence of France and Spain. In October 1539, Anne was formally married to Henry VIII in a politically arranged ceremony. However, the marriage was fraught with difficulties from the beginning. Henry had been introduced to Anne through a portrait painted by Hans Holbein the Younger, which led him to believe she was more attractive than she appeared in person. When he met her in January 1540, Henry was reportedly disappointed by her appearance and was not impressed with her demeanor. Marriage crisis and annulment. Henry's dissatisfaction with Anne grew over the following months. The marriage was never consummated, and Henry began seeking a way to annul it. His discontent was compounded by Anne's perceived inability to produce an heir and her failure to fit into the English court's social milieu. In July 1540, just 6 months after their marriage, Henry sought to annul the marriage on the grounds of non-consummation and Anne's pre-contract to marry another man, which he claimed made the marriage invalid. Anne's political and diplomatic connections, however, played a significant role in the negotiation of the annulment. Her family was keen to protect their own interests, and Anne was provided with a generous settlement. The annulment was granted by the Archbishop of Canterbury, and the marriage was declared null and void in July 1540. Anne was given a settlement that included a generous annual income, a number of properties, and the title of the King's Sister. Life after the annulment. Despite the annulment, Anne of Cleves was treated with respect by Henry VIII and the English court. She lived comfortably in England and was granted several estates, including Hever Castle, which had once belonged to Anne Boleyn. Henry even arranged for her to be present at court events, where she was treated as a member of the royal family. Anne's situation was somewhat unusual for a former queen. She was not only allowed to remain in England but also maintained a friendly relationship with Henry. She was invited to the coronations of Henry's subsequent wives and was often seen at court. Her ability to adapt to her new situation and her amicable relationship with Henry helped her maintain a dignified position in English society. Death and legacy. Anne of Cleves lived the remainder of her life in England. She became well integrated into English society and was reportedly well liked by the people and the court. She died on July 16, 1557, at the age of 41, at Chelsea Old Manor, a property granted to her by Henry VIII. She was buried in Westminster Abbey, an honour not extended to many of Henry's former wives. Anne's legacy is somewhat overshadowed by the dramatic events surrounding her marriage to Henry VIII. However, her life provides an interesting glimpse into the politics and personal dynamics of the Tudor court. She was a key figure in the shifting alliances of 16th-century Europe and managed to navigate a challenging period with dignity and resilience. Historical significance. Anne of Cleves is often remembered primarily for her brief and troubled marriage to Henry VIII, but her life had a lasting impact on English history. Her marriage was part of Henry's broader strategy to align England with Protestant Europe and to strengthen his political position. The annulment of the marriage and Anne's subsequent acceptance into English society illustrate the complexities of Tudor politics and the personal nature of Henry's reign. In popular culture, Anne of Cleves is sometimes portrayed as a victim of the king's whims or as an unattractive foreign princess, but historical accounts suggest she was a capable and adaptable individual. Her ability to secure a favorable settlement and her amicable relationship with Henry after the annulment demonstrate her resilience and political savvy. Overall, Anne of Cleves remains a notable figure in Tudor history, not just for her brief marriage to Henry VIII, but also for her ability to maintain a respected position in England after the dissolution of her marriage. Her story is a testament to the often turbulent and unpredictable nature of political marriages in the 16th century. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.